the thumbnail is probably going to look ridiculous, all right? And I pre-recorded some type of shot there. But beside that, there might be some stuff going on in this video that might be useful to a lot of people who like K-pop, who are interested in the business side of that, or just economics and how IPOs work in general. Because apparently, big news from the Bantan boys, BTS, BIGHIT Entertainment are allegedly filing for IPO in South Korea. This is big news. This is from Music Business Worldwide.com. I mean, it says everything there. So this is something that was on a lot of people's minds come the financial end year this year, where people were saying that BIGHIT could potentially IPO in the next year or two, just because they have such big revenues compared to other companies and they're run pretty well. When you look at JYP and you look at SM and YG, BTS and JYP are run the best out of those companies. And BTS is a private company right now, but an IPO, if you don't know what an IPO does, an IPO makes your company a public company now. So it can be traded on the international stock markets. An IPO is an initial public offering, and it allows everyone to be able to buy a share of BIGHIT, the amount at which they've been willing to spread onto the market. So this is a big thing for any company, and it costs a lot of money to do. So I'm interested to see exactly how much they're looking to raise from this IPO and go from there. So Warner Music Group is not the only prominent global music company going public right now, okay? It's true. Warner's going to have a much bigger IPO and market cap than BIGHIT, I guess. Seoul-based BIGHIT Entertainment, the company behind superstar K-pop group BTS, has reportedly filed for IPO in South Korea. That's according to Bloomberg, whose report followed several other reports published in the past 24 hours, stating that the company had applied for a pre-IPO review with the Korea Exchange on May the 21st. As explained by Korean news site Pulse, local rules in the country stipulate that firms looking to file for an IPO are required to enter into consultation processes to discuss the finer details of the filing, with the review process usually taking around a week. This will take a long time to go through by the time this actually does end up IPOing. Neither the size nor timeline of the IPO has been revealed at this stage. Bloomberg cites the Korean Economic Daily as reporting that the deal could give BIGHIT a market capitalization of as much as 2 trillion won or 1.6 billion US dollars. Okay, that's a pretty big market cap for an independent company. It's like, it's a completely independent company. It's not like, I don't know how much maybe investment it's got prior to this. But considering BTS is the only staple they have on their cards, that's a really big valuation on essentially BTS and some of their, I guess, property assets. So it's a big thing. Last Tuesday, the Korea Economic Daily reported BIGHIT is aiming to complete the IPO before the BTS 7 boys begin mandatory service. That makes, ooh, this is confusing now. Are these guys they're trying to cash out a bit of money here? They're trying to cash out money. I know, I'm not hating it. I'm saying do what you need to do, but like, I'm sure that a lot of this money is not just going to Senior Bang PD Nim. But I'm sure some of this money, which is potentially going to be spread out, is going to be going to the lads here, because once they go on military service, they're not going to be able to get this money and the income that they've been having over the last couple of years. So nothing wrong with that. It's just what it is. It says BTS member Jin is the oldest of the 7, age 27, is expected to join the army in December when he turns 28. So the firm is planning to complete an IPO before the end of the year. Makes sense, according to the Korean Economic Daily, which added that BIGHIT is estimated to raise more than 1 trillion won or 800 million through the IPO. That, holy shit, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. They're paying a lot of money for IPOs. IPOs are not cheap. IPOs cost a ton of money to actually do. One, there's all the legal fees, all the processing charges, everything that goes through this, all the lawyers. And that's one cost. But then there's all these other things, and specifically there's one which is like an underwriting discount, which is called like a gross spread in IPO terms. Essentially, the cost of an IPO is all the legal fees, which is probably a couple of % of the 810 million, which is the amount that's getting pushed off onto the market. So a couple of % of that, plus a minimum of 5 to 7% of that 810 is essentially BTS and Big Hit are paying to IPO their company. So 81 million. Overall, an IPO costs about 10% of the initial offering. It costs that much to be able to put the offering on. So minimum, they're paying $81 million to IPO. Minimum. Absolute minimum. I think, as far as my knowledge of this goes. I could be wrong, but the stuff I know about this, that's around about right. It could be different in Korea as well. But minimum 80 million. 10% is pretty standard. Between 8 and 10% is standard. Some places it's much, much more. It could be upwards of 10%. It could be upwards of 13 or 14%. So I would say they're paying at least 70 to 100 million to IPO this. That's how much this shit costs because there are fees involved. It's not cheap. It's a very, very expensive thing. The news of the filing follows reports in February that Big Hit had chosen the underwriters of the IPO this year with the aim of raising nearly $1 billion. According to the FT, great paper. Everyone should be reading the FT, a little bit at least. It gives you a lot of good information, and the writers are generally not super biased unless they are stated to be biased, in which case that's fine, but I don't like bias coming into money. It doesn't really help anything. At the time, the FT source also said Big Hit's total valuation could be as high as $5 billion. Wow. What changed then from it to go from 5 billion potential IPO to 1.6? Their numbers this year were super good. They basically like doubled their previous revenues, I think, this year from last year to this year. So that's a weird one that they'd say that the valuation from the FT's point of view and their sources saying that the valuation is 5 billion potentially, and it coming out allegedly at 1.6 billion, unless someone got their numbers wrong here, and I haven't done that research. I'm just reading this off of Music Business Worldwide. In 2019, Big Hit's revenue doubled. As I just said, I know these things. See, I know, I pay attention. In 2019, Big Hit's revenue doubled from the previous year to 494 million, nigh on $500 million, and reached an annual operating profits of 82 million, which is pretty good considering, you know, it's run really well. Just looking at the profit numbers again, 82 million in operating profits is pretty good from that revenue. I can't see why. I can't get why the valuation was stated at 5 billion and it's down to 1.6. It doesn't really make sense unless Jin is going away, but then that would have been factored in. Maybe this pandemic has actually shut down their revenues over the next year. It's done it to every single business. Of course, that's why it's down. That's a big shift though, from 5 to 1.6. But considering they haven't toured for 2 months, they're probably not going to be able to properly tour for at least another 2 or 3 months. Makes sense. It makes sense that revenues are going to be down at least 30 or 40% this year. Profits are going to be down at least 30, 40, maybe 50%. Okay, all right, I buy it. I buy this article more than I did at the start, but I needed my own deductive reasoning to get there. That's what you get here. You get deductive reasoning sometimes, and you get quality shitty content all the time. So moving on from there, it said on February 4th at the Big Hit corporate briefing with the community in Seoul, the company unveiled business expansion initiatives for 2020 and revealed various successes across concerts and IP last year. Big Hit Entertainment recently acquired a stake in Seoul-based K-pop label Pledis Entertainment. I remember here, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I remember reading that and my sister telling me about that, and is now the company's largest shareholder. So a good way to boost your own company value is to have mergers and acquisitions where you actually acquire other smaller companies. If they have good operating revenues, they're structurally sound, then it can boost your own market cap as well. So from their point of view, it's a good thing that they started doing this before they even went to an IPO stage, because it's a good way to have other sources of revenue, have completely offshoot accounts, and something that can work without the main company. So it works overall. I think it's a good idea for most companies to be doing that type of stuff. The acquisition of the stake in the firm, which is home to K-pop groups such as Newest and 17, comes less than a year after Big Hit's acquisition of Source Music and Seoul-based music company Superb. I do remember as well. They've been on the acquisition game for a little bit of time now, and I think it's an interesting thing for companies to do who haven't IPO'd. It sort of puts them on a different trajectory, because they're already a couple steps ahead of a lot and most other companies at that point. But yeah, if you didn't know about IPOs, then I hope there was something learned here today. They cost a lot of money. They ain't cheap. They are not cheap. And it makes sense why they're doing it. If it's for the company as a whole, so they can buff up their books a little bit, especially because over the next few years might be weird. It might be weird if BTS aren't making music, which is the #1 thing. They need to make music. I don't know how they're going to do it if Jin's not there, or if RM's not there, or if anyone isn't there. I don't know how this works unless they pre-record a ton of shit. Maybe they're using this quarantine time to like make 3 mini albums. Like that's what they've been doing. And then maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the best thing to do is with the military enlistment. If it's for them to all go at the same time, if it's for them to separate it and stagnate it so that 2 go at one point, 2 go at another, 3 go at another. But I think it's not my country, and I don't have sway on these things. I'm not the president of South Korea. But like, they've influenced the country so much and they've had such a big impact on the world. I think, in my opinion, in my humble British opinion, my stupid, very braggadocious opinion, that BTS should be exempt from military enlistment. But that's just my opinion. That's just mine. So yeah, interesting. Out of nowhere. I thought this wouldn't happen because of the pandemic, but I guess when you need the money, you need the money. And whether it's for the boys, whether it's for the company and their books, is something that was inevitable and that would happen eventually. I just thought it wouldn't happen because of this pandemic, I guess, till afterwards. But it was just about connecting those dots and to say, wow, we are in a very weird world. Companies are just losing their market value. Other companies are gaining. Companies are also losing. Who knows? Maybe in like 3 months' time, when this thing does eventually IPO, the value will be like 4.2 billion or something. I don't know. But at this moment in time, apparently, 1.6 billion US dollars. Still, not something to laugh at. But like Jeff Bezos, cash just like 1.6 billion, 1.6 billion, 1.6 billion. He's probably going to be the first trillionaire. So you know, sounds weird. But like, hey, he provides a service that no one else does and no one else can. He provides stuff like Amazon Prime, Amazon Music, Amazon Books, next day delivery, groceries. There's all these things that are encapsulated under Amazon, which leads me to a weird dystopian future. But at the same time, it's like the convenience is there though. Like, is the convenience worth the dystopian future? I don't know. I'm not one to say yes or no to that. I'm just here to say, Amazon, big company. I'd buy it, probably, maybe. I'm not saying I have, but maybe. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then Bang PD Nim himself will come after you now. Sugar mentioned him in bloody the ship da. He mentioned it, and he was going on just for that little second about Bang PD with that great little image. Bang PD, Nimmeister will come after you. That might be disrespectful. Bang PD Nim will come after you. You don't want that. You really don't. So just subscribe anyway to avoid that. Now, I've been NarendraTheComic. I am slightly losing my voice, so I'm gonna have to be careful here. I've been NarendraTheComic. You've been great. That was a bit too loud. Calm down. You've been great. And I'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, make a video every single day. Been doing it for over 2 years now, and we ain't stopping until we get to 10,000 subscribers. So subscribe. That would be great. That would be phenomenal. That would be really, really good though. I'm throwing my voice out so bad right now, and I've got other stuff to do. I'm probably going to lose my voice tonight. But yeah, subscribe. That would really be mucho bueno. Sasriyakal. But I'll be back again tomorrow. I will be back again tomorrow with some more quality shitty content, because that's what we do every single day. We bring the quality, we bring the shit, and it is content. Hashtag, hence, hashtag quality shitty content. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be here tomorrow because I'm hashtag never not here. A lot of hashtags going on. Hashtag whore, hashtag never not here. See you tomorrow, because I will indeed inevitably be here. See you tomorrow. Skadoosh.